My name is Brandon. I'm the host of the webinar, and I'm also the host of Go for Production. It's a podcast. You can check it out. And I've been wanting to do a few more online events here and just get people together that are excited about software and learn about how they can use it in their film or TV show.
Well, first of all, thanks, Brandon, for inviting me to join this webinar. My name is Nick Bars. I'm with business development at SetKeeper. I'm just going to go ahead. We only have a short amount of time, so I'm going to jump in, share my screen here. Okay. All right. So SetKeeper, if you guys aren't aware, it's a production management platform for the production offices, helps streamline things like document distribution, watermarking, creating script sides, and other tools like daily health declarations are also possible with SetKeeper. SetKeeper is technically now part of Revolution Entertainment Services. So that's a production, payroll, and accounting company as well. So we can offer those kinds of services too. Focus today is going to be on SetKeeper, but I'm also going to show you some of Revolution's tools. One of them is ProCal, which is a production calendaring platform, and then ProHire, which is their onboarding and time card solution. But mostly is going to be on SetKeeper. So it's all entirely web-based. You log in through the app. Works just as well as it on a laptop or desktop as it would on any kind of mobile device. So I've already logged in here. This is or an organization. You could imagine it'd be your production company here. All your different projects would be listed underneath. I'm going to show this more from a project perspective, but SetKeeper can also be used at a company level for managing, projects in development, anything you want to share with like agencies, management companies using SetKeeper's distribution tools. So I'm going to jump into this project that's set up for a feature film. The only difference if you're using SetKeeper for a TV show would be that the sides can actually be cross-boarded if you're going to be shooting multiple scenes from different episodes and want to put sides together that way. So SetKeeper, we've designed it to be incredibly intuitive. This is the people page. Anyone that would be receiving documents from SetKeeper, you can import contacts from Excel, CSV, or vCard files. You can also add contacts one by one. Everybody has a profile here. So if SetKeeper, it's more for European shows, but you can use SetKeeper for onboarding, which is actually why I'm going to show you ProHire, Revolution's US onboarding tool. But everyone does have a profile where you can keep track of messages that are sent to them through SetKeeper, and then also their onboarding information. Of course, you can create distribution groups, and those can be organized here. It's a little bit different because you have like a group for a crew, but then underneath you'd make then sub distribution groups from these various categories. So I'm just going to do a quick case study where I'd want to create some sides, distribute them. And yeah, that's honestly mostly SetKeeper's bread and butter, what most people use SetKeeper for. But there are, excuse me, a lot of other cool things you can do with SetKeeper. So I've already imported a script here. SetKeeper can handle PDF or final draft files. As long as it's in the usual Hollywood style format, it works perfectly fine with SetKeeper. So I can isolate this. This is right now just showing me all the scenes by scene number, but I can also isolate this by characters or by sets. So I'm just going to go back here. I can search for scenes, particular scenes one by one up here in the search bar. I can do the same thing with characters or locations. But I'm just going to select a few random sides here. I'm going to export these sides. I can drag and drop to rearrange these in whatever order I'd like. I'm going to just rename these. Let's call these Brandon sides. Okay. You have the usual options where you can hide scenes, cross them out, and gray them out. You can also keep or remove revision colors. I'll just remove those here. And then you can include the version of the document name as a header too. Now here, of course, we understand people still like to print out sides, so you can watermark and then download. You can create the small sides here too, but I'm just going to do this way, which is kind of the way we advocate. We'd love to advocate a paperless set if possible. So I'm going to export these to my documents library and the folder that I've created for sides. So I'll select that, create the sides here. All right, now I'm going to go to this folder. Here's Brandon's sides. I can click and get a preview. All right, looks good, crossed out and grayed out the scenes I don't want. In terms of security, SetKeeper has been vetted by most of the major studios. We can make adjustments on our back end to your projects if security is a concern. For example, when you get these previews, we can set up your SetKeeper project so that there would be a watermark here. And we can also control the ways how people can actually share things through SetKeeper. So more on that in a second. I'm going to send this as an email. You can also send documents as a text message. So I'm going to select a couple recipients here. I'll choose myself. I'll choose Lando Calrissian, and then I'll choose also John Doe here. Here's the same place where you'd also choose your distribution groups. I can disable watermarking here, but by default, that'll always be on, and the watermark will be the recipient's name. Just going to compose a quick message here. All right, so now back to the security stuff. So you have different ways. SetKeeper is super flexible. Totally get it if your show doesn't need crazy security. So you can just keep things as simple attachments. This is something we can disable though. So only way to send things would be as a personal link or a password protected link. Distinction here is that the password protected link, the recipient would be required to be a user of SetKeeper with their own login. So every SetKeeper project, you can have unlimited users. So it's more of a security preference. So I'm going to send this as a link. I can also enable things like PDF download prevention and then an expiration time if I want. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm going to send this now. And this automatically moves us to one of the coolest things in SetKeeper, which is the delivery analytics. So you see in real time as people are receiving your distributions, or if they happen to not receive a message, you'll get immediately prompted. So here, like John Doe, didn't get the message, so I can reach out to him. Sort of solves that problem. When someone says they didn't get the call sheet, you can actually look back here, track back to your messages and say, no, John, I know you did get the, I know you got the call sheet because it says so in SetKeeper. So now here's what it looks like on the recipient side. These are the sides for Nick. And so I sent this as a link, so it's going to open up in the browser. Again, if you're opening this on a mobile device, it'll work just as fine as it would on a desktop. Okay, so here, looks good, watermarked with my name. If I try to copy and paste this, I'm not allowed to copy it. And then you'll also get prompted if you try to print it. The preview will say you're not allowed to print this or download this, so please contact your administrator. There we go. You're not allowed to print this. All right. Okay, so that's SetKeeper. I'm just going to move on now to ProCal real quick. Sorry, let me just. Okay. So, and okay, so yeah, here actually with SetKeeper, you can see now Nick actually downloaded the document. Lando's sides were on that same email thread, so that email was opened, but not actually downloaded yet. Okay, so sorry, let me just move this tab here. All right, so ProCal is Revolution's production calendaring tool. So it's designed specifically for productions. This Zoom window is kind of blocking me here. So just to give you an idea of what's possible with it, you can organize multiple calendars with different kinds of levels of access rights. If you're a company that's across several different shows, it's super easy to like push and pull multiple events and you can select like, several different episodes, tag them with different episode numbers, and push and pull events throughout the calendar. You can also export PDF reports of all your different calendars together. So say you need to present to a studio your production schedule, you can do that. You can create the calendars so the week numbers are by the weeks of the production. So important for budgeting. You can say, you know, we need to eliminate here, add a week here, and quickly determine how that'll affect your budget. So then Pro Hire, just to give you a quick look at it, it's onboarding, time cards, all in one solution. So this is from an approver's perspective. They can create time cards for individuals or for their departments. They can create starts. From a user standpoint, when they receive a start paperwork, looks like this. So this is mostly used in the US. It can also be used in Canada, union or non-union shows. But yeah.
So my name is Laura. I am the product development manager at Scriptation. I'm so excited to show you this app. It's our mission to help everybody go, or productions go paperless, much like SetKeeper. And our aim is to solve the script revision nightmare that we all live in. I was a script coordinator for a long time, and I once sent out 3 sets of revised pages in one day, and my script supervisor called me crying. So we're just trying to help fewer people cry on set. And so if you are used to using paper for all of your notes or breakdowns or whatnot that you need to keep track of for your scripts, and then when you get that new set of pages, you need to manually move all of your notes onto those new pages, and it's just a nightmare. We have a digital solution for that, because not only can you annotate all of your scripts in Scriptation, you can also transfer all of those notes onto your new drafts with just a click of a button. So I'm going to show you how to do that. If I can share my screen. So I am sharing my iPad screen. Hopefully you can see it. Can everybody see that? We're good? Okay. You can download Scriptation right now in the App Store for free. We do have a pro version of it, and I will point out any pro elements that I am using. We're also having a Black Friday sale right now. So if you go to scriptation.com/sale, you can get some money off for that. So this is what Scriptation looks like when you first open it. There will actually be 2 drafts here for you to test our transfer function, but right now I just have one because I'll show you how to import. This is our hamburger side menu here, where you will be able to access all of your files. If you are a free user, you only have access to on my iPad, but if you are a pro user, you can add all of your Dropbox connections, iCloud, keep them all organized by all the cool, fun things that you're working on. So we're going to head back into our script, and then I'll show you a revised page. This is using all of our annotation tools that you can access through this top bar here. You're probably already familiar with a lot of these tools. I mean, highlighting text. I really enjoy using these sticky notes because I often have a lot of things to say and I don't want to muddy up my script, so I can keep them hidden in these nice little tabs. I'm also a doodler, so if I want to make this fun little star, I can go ahead and select this and then save it so that it shows up in my saved annotations, and I can drop that anywhere that I want. You can see that we've imported a set photo here. It's great for location photos, continuity photos. And then to keep ourselves organized, we've got layers, and these you can color code all of your layers, and you can go into a whole separate layer if you just want to focus on, say, your art department notes, or you can take notes for different meetings that you're preparing for. So you can pop into your tone notes, but you can also select all of them, and then you can see all of the different layers of notes at the same time. And any layer that's not currently active is just faded in the background. It's great for just keeping yourself organized, because I know I love taking notes, so it's wonderful. And then each of these layers can also be shared individually to other people who are working on the same script as you. So if you want to send all of your art department notes, you can export that. And then I'll also show, this is an added page, which you can add through this page maker up at the top. So it's just a set plan, and we have a whole bunch of preloaded storyboards or facing pages if you're a script coordinator or script supervisor, and you can go into edit and then move this page around wherever you need to. Sorry, I'm using a mouse, so it's a little wonky. But yeah, you can move those around. And then we're going to pop back into the script. And I'll show you another great function for table reads or for sound mixers. We have instant highlighting for different characters where as soon as you click this button, you can change the color of any person. So across the entire script, all of their lines will be highlighted. So all of Ruben's lines are pink, all of Neil's are blue right now. And then when you pop into the reader mode, you can do an automatic scroll with different timing. If you're in a table read and you want to follow along and you're reading multiple different lines, it's great to stay on track. And you can change the colors in this tool as well. Oh, that wouldn't be good. You wouldn't want both of them to be blue, but there we go. And you can turn these off if you just want a nice clean script to follow along. So that's reader mode. I'll pop out of that and get to the fun part, which is transferring. So you spent hours and hours annotating your script and you are ready to go night before the production starts, and you get an email with a new set of pages. Usually these are a full collated draft. You go ahead and you open that up, click the share menu, import into Scriptation. If you are a pro user, you have access to all of these different Dropboxes or cloud services, but we're just going to put it on our iPad for now. And it will show up in a new tab. I'm going to get rid of this annotation bar. So now we have our two scripts, and you can see that this is our new fresh draft with all of our revision marks from the brilliant writers, and no notes as of yet, but all we do is we pop up into transfer, and then we click the draft that we were working on. So we've got draft 1 that has all of our annotations in it. If you're a pro user, you can actually, if you only get a pages packet instead of a full collated script, you can collate those pages in, and you can also generate a compare scripts document, which I will show you in a moment. We're going to select all of our layers so that all of them transfer. And boom, we are now in our new draft that you can see with all of our revision marks, and all of our annotations have transferred in. So even if there's shifts in dialogue, if things have moved, the annotations will move along with it. It's absolutely fantastic. And then you can see in the layers, all of our other layers have also been added. So that is transfer. And then during that transfer process, I mentioned the script compare document. This is what that will look like. So this is just a great quick reference if you wanted to see if something became interior to exterior or vice versa, and you missed it in your read, which you should still do. This is just a great resource for that. So it'll show what was removed in red and then what was added in yellow. It's just, our users generally do this just to double check their work. So yeah, that is Scriptation. Pro also unlocks our lining tools if you're a script supervisor, and it's just really, really quick lining, and then also the ability to make sides through the page maker. And yeah.
So what if something is omitted in a revision and you have notes attached to that scene? Do those notes just magically go away? I don't really understand what it's tagging to carry over your note to the next.
Yeah. So as many annotations as possible. If they find it, like if shifts move, then it will try to find it, all of the metadata just gets attached to that text. If something is omitted completely and it can't find a new home, it'll actually transfer as a deleted annotation, and there will be a list of all of the deleted annotations that couldn't find a new home. But for the most part, we really try to help it find its place. But if it's totally gone, then your annotations will be gone too. Any other questions?
Who are the primary users that use this on a production?
We get a lot of directors who use it, especially for prep and to break down scripts. Line producers use it for a lot of budgeting and like breakdowns. Script supervisors are really getting onto the lining tools that we have now. Sound mixers are using it, especially because that highlighting tool. We get a lot of basically any department head has been using it for for just their prep work and then just staying organized throughout the whole shoot. We're also kind of getting into live as well, into Broadway and all that fun stuff too. So we're playing around with differently formatted scripts, and you can also transfer notes on one-liners if you do that. So a lot of people.
Okay, we're gonna jump to Josh with Rabs. Where are you, Josh?
Hi. Hey, Brandon. Hi, everybody. What I want to do is I'm going to tell you a bit about the Rabs app and the digital background voucher. The big picture of what Rabs is. Rabs is a on-set tool that the ADs use to manage and track all the backgrounds. So as an AD, they will use the app to check in your background. The app will generate vouchers for the background. The app will generate I-9s for the background. The app will generate breakdowns for the background and the ADs at the end of the day. The app will then transfer all this information to a production's accounting department, and the production accountants will use the app to process and prepare the background for payment. Rabs works with third-party payroll companies, so we're not doing the payroll, we're not doing the casting, we're the middle tool used by the different departments on the show. I want to share my screen. This is the Rabs app. A couple of basics about the app. I call it an app, but it's a responsive web application. So that means your crews will use the app through their browser. So that's Chrome, Safari, Firefox. Just to give you a quick look at the AD view. So we're looking now at a pretty standard setup. Here's our calendar of shooting days. There's a certain number of background that have been added into the app. The background are added by the third-party casting company. So, LA, Rich King, Dixie, New York, Grant Wilfley, Waldron, Roman Candle, whoever you might be working with. Each day, the ADs will go down to the digital skins. These are the Rabs digital skins. This is what the ADs will use to check in the background. So when I have these two stand-ins on set, I say, great, Josh is here. I would click the clock. Josh is now checked in. When an AD checks in that performer, the app generates a voucher automatically, which tracks the call time, which tracks the rate. Brandon, I see Brandon's here. I would click the clock. I would say, hey, Brandon, the stand-in, can you show me your IDs? The ADs will check the performer's physical IDs at this point. They'll verify the IDs and they'll sign the I-9. And when they do that, the performer is going to be checked in just like everybody else. So the ADs will use the app to check in the background, verify the I-9s. They'll use the app to track a performer's meal. And they'll use the app to wrap the background at the end of the day. So I've jumped down to this wrap tab on the left-hand side. I'm going to put in an out time. And the background are now wrapped. Last step of the day for an AD, the app will generate their breakdown. At this point, a PA, really the background PA is going to first check the breakdown. Then they're going to send it up to the second. The second is going to verify everything in the app. And at the end of the day, second will approve that breakdown, and the app will deliver everything to accounting to be processed. There's an accounting side of things, which I'm not going to get into today, but that's the biggest, smoothest picture I can give you in about 3 minutes. Do you have anything you want to see on the AD side of the app? Any questions from an AD's point of view or even a UPM's point of view?
I mean, do you want to show them maybe the props part? I guess that would be cool to see that.
The app can be used as a collateral tool with costumes and props. So I've jumped to costumes tab here, or props. Brandon pointed out they work the same way. So these items can be changed, but the point, what would in the costume department, when they use the app, what they'll do is they'll mark off which item they lent out. The app is really used as a collateral tool. It is not a continuity tool. So it doesn't really matter that they put in yellow shirt size 16.5 neck. And when I mark that item out, if we go back to our skins, which is the AD's check-in tool, I have this red shirt, which means stop. If I go to the wrap tab, I have a red shirt and a block, which would prevent these people from being wrapped until their costumes or their props were returned. Yes, Jennifer.
Oh, I wasn't trying to interrupt just when you got a second, but getting the names into the system. So are you working directly with the extras casting company? Is that how that works? Like as production, you're saying, okay, we're using Rabs and here's our casting company, and that's how you're doing it?
Yeah, you would email me, you'd email Ashlyn on our team. Depends on which studio you're with. And then there's a good chance we've worked with the background casting company before, and they are actually going to be responsible for creating the skins in the app. We support them, but the background casting handles everything. And so I jumped, but when I checked these items back in, so they were checked out, when they're checked back in, green shirts, green means go. There's a lot of red and green symbols in the app, stop and go, traffic lights, which has been very easy for the ADs to understand, which maybe Andrew could agree or point out. Let's see, costumes and props, even though we have the function, they will opt in and opt out of using the app. Some will really like it, and some are just like, we're hands off. We don't like technology. This isn't for us. And that's okay. The app is really focused on the ADs, the efficiencies within the AD department and the efficiencies within your accounting department, your accounting offices. And Rabs is used by every single major studio. So Disney was the last to come on board. We're glad they're on board. It took 2 years of work to get that one done, but now we've got them all. So the way to use Rabs, and I will put my email in this chat, but the way is, one, you would go to either our website, and if you know me, so on our website, you'll see a demo page, request a demo right here. Request a demo. Our website is runabetterset.com. If you request a demo, fill in the contact form and we'll get back to you usually within a few hours. If you know me, you send me an email directly. My email is josh@runabetterset.com, which is our website. runabetterset.com. There you have it.
How does it get to payroll? You said it says like a send a voucher. So that, did I miss that part? I'm sorry. How does that final voucher get to payroll? And
So
how does
now-
the approval process work from there?
So now, if I'm an AD, here's my last step. I've approved these breakdowns. There's now a separate portal within the app, which an accounting team will log into. So they have access to their Rabs app with their series of Rabs features. Within the portal, within their Rabs app, they will have ability to, they check the vouchers, they track changes to vouchers. The app does their cost reporting for them, which is one of the accountant's favorite features in the app. And when they're happy with a day, there's a process where they click a button and everything is sent to the third-party payroll company. The third-party payroll company will have their own portal in Rabs, and they will pull all the data out of the app on their own. So, there's no download and transfer. It's all through the app's process. The advantage is, of course, it's faster, it's time-stamped, and it's actually the safest way from a data and privacy standpoint to deliver payroll information to the payroll company.
I mean, there's an approval process within that, like somewhere like production management before it goes to payroll. And so I'm assuming there's an output feature that says, okay, here's, or I don't know, not output because everything's paperless, but I'm assuming there's like it's gone through accounting and then they're saying, okay, approve this before it goes to payroll.
Yeah, accounting has their portal. They check everything. They'll check their reports. They'll check their vouchers. When they're happy with the day, they have to, that's the final step. They're saying, we're good with this. There's a button, which both is a simultaneous approval and a simultaneous send. And that's that last step. It's like a mass sign off by generally the payroll accountant. Sometimes a clerk will be deputized to do it, but that is the process. Yeah. Let's see. I noted, last thing I'd like to know, Rabs is used on several hundred shows now. And, everything from an indie, like a tier 1 indie, uses the app to some of the highest volume background shows in the country. Best example is probably the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel has used Rabs for the last 3 seasons. And they sometimes have days of, 700 background. So if you're curious how the app works in real time, I'm sure you can quickly find a friend who has used Rabs on their show. And of course, you can reach out to me. Again, my email is josh@runabetterset.com. And let's do a demo with your next show. That's what I do each day. Hi, everybody.
Hey, thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
We're going to move on to Nate with Assemble.
Awesome. Get this started. So my name is Nate Watkins. I am the CEO of Assemble. Actually a former producer, ran my own creative studio in Los Angeles for about a decade, and really struggled with project management tools for producers. We found that most project management tools weren't designed for filmmaking and for content creation. Anybody that's used anything like Asana or Trello, I think inherently understands the problems with those platforms. One of them being is that they can't manage assets. They can't manage, video edits and the things that we're actually creating. And so we wanted to design a project management solution from the ground up, built for producers. And our goal was to bring the entire collaboration into an all-in-one solution. So this includes calendars, tasks, documents, assets. You can really think of it as a digital production binder for your entire project. And this enables you to centralize your team, the communication, approvals, and workflow all in one place, get you off of email chains and text messages and attachments and links and all these different things. So I'm going to just show you a real quick demo to give you a taste of what we offer. So when you log in, this is your dashboard. Each of these cards is an individual self-contained project where you're going to have everything you need from pre to post. Once again, can think of this kind of like a digital project binder or production binder. So if I open up this Netflix documentary here, first thing you're going to notice is it has this project binder kind of feel. So every project has its own calendar. And then we have what we call phases. Phases are completely customizable. You can create these any way you want. But basically, what are the steps your project's going to go through to come to life? So, maybe we have like a writing phase. We could drop that in, drag and drop reorder. And these essentially act as top level folders to enable you to organize all your documents, files, assets from pre to post. But I'm going to stick here with the calendar. So let's go ahead and jump in the calendar. Each project has its own calendar as described. You could just click and drag, create tasks. Let's say we have like, writing. And within these tasks, you can assign these to different team members. It's a very powerful task manager, update status, whether it's in progress or what's being done. But then I'm going to go up here and switch to the timeline view. And this turns your calendar into a Gantt style view. And this is broken down by whatever phases you set the project up with. So you could just continue building out your calendar. Maybe we've got casting, location scouting, and let me throw in one more. Let's just say we have shoots. So obviously just a very basic calendar, but giving you the idea of how you can start to build out very professional advanced production calendars in here, and then also be going in and assigning these to various people and making sure the people on your production team know what they're responsible for. Now, what's really great about Assemble is that, let's say we need to share this calendar. You need to send it to a network or maybe some of the crew that you're working with. You don't have to necessarily force them to create an Assemble account. We know that can be a big hurdle, but you can actually just come up here, click share, and you can share this entire calendar as a review link. So if we do this, all we do is create a link, we copy paste that, and then I'm going to jump to an incognito window here. So imagine I'm a studio or something, I've never heard of Assemble. You send me this link, I click it, it just opens. No login, no sign up, nothing. I can toggle and view the Gantt view. It is read only, so they're not going to be able to edit it or change anything. But then from this review link, they can even come up here, click sync, and they can sync it to Google, Apple, or Microsoft. And so what that does is it enables you to send this out and let everybody connect to it in any way that they want, and enables you to finally have one central hub for all of your calendars and planning. So if you come in here and move something, that's going to push out across everybody's calendars. It'll land, update in their iCal, update in their Google Cal, all from this centralized hub. Another great feature is we have bulk drag and drop. So let's say you need to shift the entire calendar. Let's say we had a 2-day delay. Just turn that on, and any task I move, tasks on the same day or later are going to snap to it. So if I move that, you see the rest of that calendar just shifts effortlessly. So if you're managing multiple shows, multiple productions, we also have a great global calendar. So back out here to our main project dashboard, up here at the top, we have the global calendar. And this is going to show you all of your project timelines stacked up against each other in one place. Just gives you that bird's eye view of, deadlines, key milestones, where everything stands. Of course, you can open it up and drill in, just see who's working on what. So really powerful view there. So wanted to focus mostly on the calendar because that's definitely one of our most popular features. But real quickly, want to give you a sense for what else Assemble can offer. So if I jump into this project here, aside from the project management tools, calendars, tasks, this is designed to be your all-in-one file and asset management platform. So if I'm jumping into any of these phases, we can be uploading, documents, we could be uploading everything from like storyboards to scripts. You can be putting casting options in here. So you could be uploading headshots, auditions, things of that nature, just collaborating with people, getting approval, working with your casting director, working with director. And then once you get into post-production, it's very powerful asset management platform. So if you're uploading actual edits for review, you're going to have things like the frame specific commenting. So you can drop those time-coded comments directly on the timeline. Version control, so you can track V1, V2, V3, and just understand how those are changing. And then the ability on everything to just set the status of where it stands. Last thing I'm going to show you is a feature that we just launched, which is our own document creator. So not only can you upload all of your files, assets into this platform, you can actually now create documents directly in here. This is a fully customizable document creating experience. As you can see, you have your text formatting. And you can really just use this to collaborate with your team in real time. You can have multiple people in here editing all at once, just for any sort of documentation you need to do, whether that's like meeting notes or creative brainstorming or whatever that may be. So I'm not sure where I'm at on time, but that is a brief overview of what Assemble offers. Really, once again, all-in-one tool to just bring your entire collaboration workflow into one place.
Great. Any questions, Nate?
So the calendar thing is very cool. Is it always live though? Like what if I want to go in and just like play around with some options, but not have everyone see all the changes I'm making? Is there like a non-live version that is?
Yeah. So first of all, congrats on the book, Jennifer. we feature Jennifer on our blog. Check out the book, everyone. Yeah, so what I would recommend in that scenario is just prior to actually sending out that review link. When you send that out, when people sync to it, it is going to become live. You can certainly, we do enable project template, so you could essentially duplicate the project and then tweak around with it in like another additional project. But yeah, once you send that review link out, it would be, any updates you make are going to connect to people who have synced.
So best would be just like copy and paste to like a separate working doc. And then if I want to send something out, it's like it's a link that I know that I don't touch that to make any changes going forward, unless I want people to see my live work. Is that kind of?
Yeah, and you can also revoke the links too. So like if you've shared out a link of the calendar, but you're like, oh, I'm going to go edit this and make some changes, you can come in here after it's created and you can just delete that link, and that's going to delete it off everyone's calendar. So, if that was a scenario, you wanted to go and make some edits and then reshare the review link once it's ready, that could be another option.
Are there any limits to the assets you can upload, or can it be any type of format file?
Yeah. There's no file size limit. You can add as much storage as you want. You just pick your subscription based on how much storage you want. So you can be uploading as large of files as you want. No, absolutely no limits on that.
Okay, we're going to jump to Sean with Conduit.
I'm Sean. I'm the founder of Conduit. I was a production accountant for many years. I grew, like several others, I grew very frustrated with the tools that we had for managing files, for managing payment requests, for managing purchase orders. And so I decided to build something to streamline all of that, to replace the kind of Frankenstein monster of that we see on many projects where you have a combination of Dropbox, Box.com, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drives, and sometimes DocuSign and a few other tools. So I wanted to build something to bring all that into one place. And so that's really where Conduit comes from. We've got a number of users now. Our users have used Conduit for projects delivering to most of the networks now. I don't think we delivered to, let me think, Disney. That's the only one we haven't. So Rabs, you guys are ahead of us on that. Okay, got it, sorry. So yeah, so this is Conduit. Every user has a separate login. Every project is unique. If you're a user in Conduit, you can go in and create all kinds of payment requests depending on your role. Every payment request goes through a form, and so our purchase order form template looks a lot like this. You can put your vendor name, a description. The chart of accounts is loaded on the back end, so you don't have to worry about users inventing random account codes and sending through requests with those. You can include an episode number, Obviously, if it's a COVID-related expense, sets, qualified expense categories. You can break out the charge into as many account codes as you would like. All backup can be loaded here. And once your request goes in, the accounting department or your manager on the production side can see the request in detail in a view like this. And they can see all the necessary information before they actually approve it. A lot of this is done now in some cases using, once again, a combination of different tools, but in Conduit, everything is here. And you can also download and create one file with all of this information and with any chat notes associated with it. You can make comments in Conduit, and so you can send notes to other users. You can ask them questions within Conduit. If they're not logged in, they will get an email with the questions so they can jump in. You don't have to worry about email chains anymore, at least not related to things in Conduit. We export to all of the production accounting softwares. So if you can always export file to a production accounting software. We have, you can export to Excel from Conduit. So you can export your purchase order log, you can export wire transfer logs, credit card logs. You can create custom reports that you can also export to Excel. We what am I forgetting? We have an audit feature. So in January, or before January, you can always check to see whether or not you're missing W-9s, whether or not you're missing invoices, whether or not you're missing proof of payments if you're uploading those, which makes life a lot easier if you're doing a tax credit audit or if you're doing 299s in January. We have, let's see, anything else? Chat, mention that. You can always see the status of an invoice or check request or any kind of payment type, so you know exactly where it stands. That's most of it. I mean, I have other features, but I can, if you want to reach me, you can email me at sean@conduit.com or info@conduit.com, and I'm happy to set up a demo, or you can go to our website and book a demo here. Just click book a demo and it'll, I'll get a calendar request and we can talk to them. Always available, happy to talk. Yeah.
I was gonna jump in, Sean, question for you. Can you kind of go back just a little bit and explain what your system replaces for the typical film production? Like I have a check request. Let's say I'm in art department. I've got 10 check requests or 10 POs, and my typical process is what, you know?
Yeah, so in some cases, that process looks like creating a check request on some pre-built form. It could be an Excel doc that's been created, or maybe something that's a PDF form. And so to do that, you may have to type that form in, fill it out, attach files to it using a different tool, like maybe Adobe. Adobe has a plugin that you can use to assemble the file. And then from there, you have to email it around. Different users approve it. If there's a problem with it, it gets kicked back, and that process has to start all over again. So in our world, that's the process is you fill out the form here, you attach the files, you click submit, and there's no other work for you to do at that point, unless you need to make a revision to it. If you want to make a revision, you just, assuming it has not been approved, you just click on the revision icon and go in and make whatever changes that you want to make. But the idea is to replace the need for a lot of the sending around of different payment requests and a lot of the manual work that goes along with that, which can be tedious and just it can waste a lot of time, create a lot of confusion also.
So questions for Sean.
So whenever an approver has a question and they submit it, it doesn't go back to the accounting department. It goes back to the person that actually submitted the original paperwork, correct?
Correct.
Cool.
Yeah, it goes to the person that created it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
awesome. Thanks.
So, yeah.
And talk about your integration with QuickBooks is coming up, right?
Yeah, so we're working on integration with QuickBooks right now. That's going to be seamless. So we're pretty close to rolling that out. I think in another 2 to 3 weeks. And so that just, we have commercials that use QuickBooks quite a bit. And so that it removes the need to do any kind of data entry or any kind of import, export. It's just, it's a much more seamless experience and just makes life a lot simpler. Cool.
Our final presenter is Mirko with WrapTime.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Mirko Urania. I'm second AD DGA, and I built this app that's named WrapTime to resolve the in and out daily timesheet in a digital way. I'm gonna share with you a presentation. All right. So WrapTime, as I said, is a digital app for the film industry. I basically start developing this app because I was dealing daily on daily basis with paper, and it's not just about going paperless. It's more than paper was creating a lot of time wasting and errors and confusion and chaos. So I decide to go digital, and I create this app. So basically, of course, you can understand that an app like this is making things faster because, of course, is forget about spending time and energy chasing head of department and and having PA sending to you pictures while they are traveling back to base camp into a van, and or text people, crew members texting you or sending you email, etc., etc. So of course we are going to save time and to be error-free, and nevertheless being digital, that means paperless, etc., etc. So it works as normally digital, daily timesheet works. So the head of the department is in charge of department in and outs, and also the app has a crew list, a real-time crew list. So all the crew members are having a crew list, so names and phone numbers, emails, and you can also actually call, text, and email directly from the app. And also, not only, but also a single crew member can submit individual in and out, and I'll make a case later. I'll show you an application case later, and also the single member as a crew list, and both head of department and single crew member can, at the end of the week, usually having a weekly recap with the times for the whole week. And on the other side, of course, this is the crew side. On the other side, there are the administrators. Of course, there are ADs and or accountant, producers, production coordinator, etc. So the administrator had the full control of the crew list, and they can add people, manage permission. I'll tell you later what is about permission. And when all the in and outs come in, they supervise the submission on a screen, and they can download an Excel file that is basically PR ready. That's the whole thing, is to create a PR in the less time possible. So how it works, basically, the setup is there is an initial crew list imported in the system. The permission are set, like who is the head of department and has permission for the department, who has administrator, etc., etc. And the easiest way to share the app, the link, or is through a QR code that actually any crew member can pop up on his own screen and share with anybody is on set that moment. Of course, email, text, yes, whatever is usual, but also QR code make it easier, because if I have a day player coming in today and I want to share with him my app and having him accessing the app, that's the fastest way. There is much more on that side, but I don't want to spend my time getting into details. So here, a quick video that will show you how it works. Head of department in this case, selecting today's and the call time, for example. So the app prepares all the a crew member of that department, and basically in groups or singles, because of course, like camera department, they have different times, maybe more outs and lunch time than ins, but you can see here how it works. Basically, you select the people, you can create a note for the department, lost a cable, of course, camera department, and then you can submit, and you using these wheels, I call time wheels, to change the timing, again, in groups or singles, and you submit. And on the other side, in real time, we will see later, in real time, they will receive ADs or whoever, they will receive the data. I'll show you a case scenario when, for example, lighting department, the head of department is spending all the time out, but it doesn't have Jenny operator, because this is something that happened actually. The Jenny operator is in another location, is having problem with the generator, or is needing to keep the generator working, and the head of department can submit everybody else, and not waiting for the Jenny operator, the generator operator to text or call him. The Jenny operator can log in his own portion of the app, submit, and in the same time, the head of department can check, and of course, the AD will have that time too. Last, very quickly, the console that is receiving real time. This is the console. It works on computer, iPad, or whatever. It's a big screen needing. Meanwhile, the app works on any device, from smartphone to iPad to computer. And you are seeing here a simulation where the AD is watching real time all the departments submitting, or the single members submitting their times, and et cetera, et cetera. There is something that the AD can take track. So this is not the case. I'm going to explain everything. And at the end, when everything is done, see the last department is production, you will see disappearing a few lines, because they can mark as not working, or that day, or maybe they are day player, et cetera, et cetera. So when everything is done, you can download an Excel file, and having time there, or there is an automated PR that I created, that basically you can copy and paste all the data from the app, and this is your back of your back page of your PR, done in seconds, literally. And I think that's it. So WrapTime is free for production. There are less than 50 crew members, and a few bucks for crew a little bit bigger. And I think that's it.
Questions for Mirko? Thank you, Mirko. What's the biggest production that's used the program so far?
Was a year ago, more or less, Zoe and Extraordinary Playlist in Canada. That was the biggest. It was more than 100 crew member. Yeah. Everybody is using the app, is very happy, and the surprise is that mainly is sometimes accountants are happy, because they're receiving all the in and outs right away. They don't need to wait the PR and et cetera, et cetera. That's the biggest thing. Once you understand that, it make a difference.